Hey everybody, this is Eddy Dacius. We're here for another episode. We have a great guest, Ryan Streete, with us today. He will definitely tell us about his journey so far. But in 2018, Ryan moved in Boston, Massachusetts from Ireland, and he started his own company. That's already a great journey because not everybody have a chance to start their own company. So let's give a shout out to our sponsor. So that's his facility management man will sponsor this episode or sponsor this podcast. That's his facility management. You can call them now 617-237-0106 or go online
Do
www.daciusfm.com.
you want to maximize the value of your commercial property and achieve optimal productivity and efficiency in your day-to-day business operations? That's where Dacius Facilities Management can help. DFM offers Boston area businesses help in key areas like building and preventive maintenance, handyman services, project and vendor management, and even security consulting at competitive rates. Call Dacius Facilities Management now at 617-237-0106 or visit daciusfm.com today.
DaciusFM.com 617-237-0106. So like I said, we have a great guest. We have somebody who started their own career in terms of starting their own business. But he will tell us more about himself. His name is Ryan Streete. Ryan, how are you doing today?
Hey Eddie, I'm good. Thank you so much. It's super cool to be on here with you. Thank you.
All right, so we, like promised, we always have a good guest. So Divine Purpose is all about sharing other people's journey, and we have Ryan Streete with us. So let's start with the show, Divine Purpose Podcast.
Welcome to the Divine Purpose Podcast, where we transport you along one of the more dynamic journeys of life. Have you ever been curious to know what it takes to become a successful leader? Or about knowing the secrets of life through the Bible? How about engaging in conversation where no topics are off limits? We will take you to new levels with guests who can help you grasp the importance of your calling. Now, here's your host, Eddy Dacius, founder of Dacius Facilities Management.
So, like I said, we have Ryan. So, we have a famous question for all our guests. What can you tell us about you today?
What can I tell you about my today? Is that the question, Eddie?
Yeah.
Well, today it's been actually a bit of a crazy one. So far, I've been on an estimate walkthrough on a super cool project.
Okay.
I've been to a funeral, and now I'm here with you this morning. So yeah, Monday, it's been a mad one. And yeah, it's not over yet. So yeah, that's how Mondays typically go. You never know what you're going to get.
I know that's exactly what it is for us who's working in the facility world, facility management or in the construction world. So let's go with this question. How was it for you? Is there like a culture shock you experienced moving from Boston to
Yeah, I would say that's it's just to give a little bit of background there. I was born here in Boston.
Okay.
I moved to Ireland at age 5 with the accent, but I grew up in Ireland. I went to school in Ireland. I went to college in Ireland, and I moved back here in 2018.
Okay.
I was 21, and there definitely was an element of culture shock. Certainly, in how business is done, how people interact, and the directive, the direction of people. So it definitely took a bit of getting used to. And as I'm sure you know yourself, there's ways to sell to people that are from a different culture from your own, but also there's different ways of connecting with those people.
You're on point on this. Let's go about challenges. Can you share 3 challenges event in your life, and how did they challenge you?
Wow, I would say 3 challenges. First challenge was probably my first ever painting project. That first summer when I started it was just myself.
Yeah.
I had a wheelbarrow to carry around my tools. So I would say that first project was a real challenge. A second challenge was probably starting with a crew, starting to manage people, being responsible for people, and just having the business grow beyond yourself in itself was a
Yeah.
challenge. And I would say for my third highlight challenge, I'm just going to say the whole kind of standardization of processes
Yeah.
and getting to the realization of, okay, I can't keep running my business this way. It's running me. So I need to take control. And I've been on this kind of journey, for the last couple of years of now trying to challenge myself to, okay, what is our process? And, have a document that I can point to for every step along the way.
And this is great because you saying this because that's definitely what needs to happen to create that sustainable growth you're talking about. But can you go a little bit deeper? So what kind of gets you to go to that path? Some people will probably stick to it and then never change. So what kind of gets you to realize you kind of have to change your process?
I think it was really just, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I have a hard time kind of, letting things kind of, quitting at things, or maybe that's a misnomer, but I wasn't ready to give up the business. I knew I could do better, and I knew that there was something missing, and it was understanding that my quality of life could improve if I can properly articulate my process. I would say was, the main catalyst for me kind of starting on that journey. So
let's go on a better note in terms of your childhood memories. Is there any favorite memories you want to share with us today?
That's a great one. Again, I feel like if we're going to try and tie it into painting, I would say, I have some really fond memories of painting my house. I have some funny memories of, my mom taking into painting the entire kitchen cabinets, some random Tuesday and kind of being thrust into that project, and, that just being like those initial steps into my trade. So yeah, that's childhood memory.
So what got you to painting? Because some people, like I'm not gonna lie, man. Painting is a great thing to do, but I feel like I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah, I hear that. I would have said something very similar a couple of maybe 10 years ago. I'll tell you what it was. I came to Boston for a summer during college, and I was lucky enough to meet an Irish gentleman that had moved here in the 1990s. He set up a painting company, and we met at the UPS store. I was actually printing off my resume, and I was wearing a sports team from Ireland t-shirt that a pest exterminator recognized and said, "Hey, are you looking for a job? I know this Irish guy." So he gave me his number, and I lo and behold, I met up with my soon-to-be employer, and the following year he helped me establish my own company upon returning to Boston full-time.
Wow. How great was that, man?
Yeah, it was just such a, just the way the stars aligned. It just, felt like an opportunity that I really, as I'm sure yourself with painting, look, it's such an ideal business to start into. The cost of getting into it is relatively low, but it was really his mentorship and support really that helped me say, okay, no, I have a real opportunity here. I'm gonna give this a go.
So allow me to go a little bit back in your past. So let's picture Ryan in high school. How was Ryan in high school, and in terms of like what was his dream job, and is he following his dream job now?
Yeah, I would honestly, my mom will laugh about this, but I would say that that high school Ryan, he was kind of very much on the track of going to college and pursuing a career. The thought was at the time around in politics or journalism. But business and entrepreneurship were always kind of there. There was always kind of that entrepreneurial interest. So I wasn't sure how it was going to fall out, but I had a rough idea.
If this is great to hear, because now my next question is about which of your accomplishment you're the proudest.
Which the proudest of?
Yeah,
it's proud. That's a good one. Geez, you don't think about these things, and it is good to think about them. But what's coming to mind is it's called an Ardchastis. It's a certificate of fluency that's awarded by Irish language colleges in Ireland. And
yeah.
I studied there for 5 years, just 3 weeks every summer. But over that 3 weeks every summer, I was lucky enough to develop a good working sense of Irish, my language, which is, kind of not a very widely spoken language. And I kind of got to a level of fluency with that. And I would say that's what's coming to mind right now. Whether or not that's my proudest achievement, I don't know. But
so, and this is great, because my question, what kind of get you to do it? So I know most people would probably say they are they are the ultimate patriot, right? They want to embrace all the culture of their ancestors. So what was your reason?
Yeah, I would say, kind of going back to the high school Ryan, definitely history, politics were a huge part of my world at that time. And I would say that that interest pushed me towards engaging with the culture and engaging with the language. And learning the language was just a way that I could feel more a part of that community and more a part of my culture, I suppose. Yeah.
So which one of, is there something you wish you knew before you started this company?
Yes, definitely. There's no one takeaway. I think that I do wish that someone told me, I think I've said this maybe more than others. I wish someone told me that sometimes not doing something is as important as doing something. So in other words, the opportunities or the shots that you don't take, sometimes it worked out. You weren't meant to take that shot, and that actually worked out better.
Can you give us an example?
Of course, yeah. Just talking about that big shiny project that comes along that's just actually a little bit too far of a reach. Understanding what is in your circle of competence can really brand you and just help you not make mistakes that you don't need to make.
So would you say that it's important to focus on the growth where embrace the journey? The reason I'm going that direction, because yes, some people grow fast, but they don't know what they don't know because they grow fast.
Right. Yeah.
But when you grow on your perfect time, or no perfect or flow, you kind of absorb all the mistake and you get more confident in your capability.
Right. Yeah, I think what you're saying there, Eddie, reminds me of the triangle of quality, speed, and time. And it's basically pick two. You can have quality and speed, at the expense of time. And it's just, if I were to say that if to be focused on growth was the answer, it would seem too simple. I think it's more complex than that, but I think that's where
I agree too. I agree. And I think we share the same, as I don't know My first client was a professor from Wentworth. So I have a bachelor in project management from Wentworth University in Boston, and I had that conversation because he was expressing that there's a lack of facility managers out there, and he ended up giving me my first client. And I think it's similar to you looking for a job and you met somebody who kind of become your employer, and now you are your own boss. But do you focus on the impact you have on being a business owner, where your business helping people reach their goal? Is there a toll on you to perform and to make sure the business is successful?
Yes, I think so. I think, like, reaching, in terms of engaging with the community,
Yeah,
there are different ways that businesses can do that. I see our role there as, yes, obviously helping homeowners, helping businesses, but a real example is, the elderly lady that lives alone that's having a difficult time getting a quote in our neighborhood.
yeah,
Our service level agreements are that that lady is going to receive an estimate, you know, within 48 hours.
yeah,
We're going to at least help her with an estimate and, reasonable price for her job. So I see in many ways, and sometimes those jobs, as you know yourself, Eddie, is like they're not the most favorable jobs, but I think there are ways in which businesses can just have baseline ethics that mean that, they're responsible members of their community, and that in itself is a path to growth. I can't stress that enough. Having a business that was being built on word of mouth referral, it's just, even those smaller jobs that don't seem great at the time can lead to a massive referral.
yeah, yeah. You definitely right. So let's go with. Is there somebody? Is there an advice you would give somebody who's starting the career? They might not go in the painting industry or construction industry. What can we share with them today?
Yeah, I would say, um, again, I'm just gonna go with what's off the top of my head, but 2 ears, one mouth. Listen. We've 2 ears, one mouth for a reason. We're trying to do twice as much listening as speaking. Um,
Mm,
I think it's just the quickest way of learning. It's the quickest way of absorbing. Take advantage of the early time in your career. That's the time to make mistakes and learn and figure out. That's when you have the most flexibility with the people around you. They're the most willing to give you a little bit of slack. Um, yeah, that's what I'd say, I think.
and that's a great advice, man. Because I teach. I'm a instructor, locksmith instructor, and I told the students that you better make mistake in the class than doing it out there. And it's basically the same thing you're
Mm.
saying. It's okay to make mistake early and grow from that. So, is there a personal experience that kind of got you to know that, or is it you just know it by? So, how did you know that?
Yeah, I think it was just good figures around me, good people around me, when I kind of was starting
Yeah,
in the trade. I just really saw the value, and I saw how the people around me listened. I think I just was fortunate to work in good places. I've worked with some, other contractors, in those first 2-3 years during, the painting low season in the winter. I worked with various different contractors and had some excellent experience there. So yeah, I really would point to that. Um,
so let's go with the process of starting the business, because it's challenging for everybody. It's different for everybody. Like you said, it might be easier to start a painting than starting a facility management or construction company or a cleaning company. What was your process?
so our process for starting the business, in general, just how did we go about it?
Yeah, like I know you. So let's take us to the mindset what was like step by step what you did? Because some people might be on your first step.
Right. Gotcha.
Say they kind of guide them to go forward.
Gotcha. Right. Well, it's it's really, I think, nailing down what type of company you want to be first and foremost. Right now, we are an S corporation. I co-own my business with my business partner, Tiago. So if you're in a partnership type, if you're thinking about going into business with friends, whoever that is, I would say really nail what type of structure you're going to file as. That's not advice, obviously, but just make sure that that's nailed. That's really going to have the biggest implication, I think, as far as tax goes, further down the line.
Okay.
After that, I would say the website. I would say get your name right straight off the bat. Spend time thinking about your name. Think about your services. And business plan. Don't not do a business plan. Don't start until you've done the business plan. I didn't listen to the advice.
Hold on. Ryan, I'm gonna challenge you on this. Why are you saying this? Why?
Why do you need a business plan before you start?
Yeah.
Because you can't improve what you can't measure. And I think that once I hear the argument about don't start the business plan until you're in the business. You can't know what you don't know until you're starting it, right? I get that, but I think that it's better to start with some type of template that you can adjust and improve as you're running the business. I think that's easier to do as opposed to starting to make that business plan alongside starting the business, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense because I did the same thing you did. Yeah, I started a business plan. It wasn't complete because I feel like I didn't know a lot to put on it, but I wanted to focus on the mission, the value, who we are, and then what type of target audience we wanted to operate in. But some people will kind of get challenged on this because they started their business without a business plan and they are being successful,
Yeah, look, that was me. That was Tiago and I as well. We started without that business plan, and it kind of, then it very quickly. Then it filled those gaps fill in themselves. Whether that's written down or not, but I think that whether or not that's what people do, I think that's maybe what people should try and do. Have a bit of an idea, roughly.
So, did you look for outside resources for like or to know what to, because most people they don't really know what to write a business plan.
Right. Yeah, I think definitely a huge resource for us was Score, the service core.
Score, man, Score. Yeah, I did it too, man.
Fantastic resource. Can't praise
it's very detail oriented. Tell you exactly how to do it step by step. So shout out for Score.
Yes, absolutely. They were super helpful. I mean, thinking back now to those early months of Tiago and I kind of establishing our new business plan with Score, like they helped us every step of the way. They had lawyers that we were able to contact. There was accountants that we were able to contact, all free of charge. Just seriously, one-stop shop. And again, no need to overcomplicate it. I think there's way too many resources out there. I think, pick 2 or 3 and just try and kind of 2 or 3 comprehensive resources and try and stick to them.
So now,
overwhelming otherwise.
I will go with you choosing a partner to start your business. That's another headache for some people. How was your process?
Yeah, my process was it was not a typical kind of thing. It was, I started the business myself as a sole proprietor back in 2018 and, ran the business through 2022, at which point, or through that time, Tiago, my current business partner, had worked with me on the crew. he is a very close family friend of my partner's family. They've known each other for 15 plus years.
Yeah.
So he came on great recommendation, and we instantly got off really well. And fast forward to, the end of 2022, we decided 2021, pardon me, sorry, all of these years are mixed up in my head now, but we decided to, get together, form a new company, and work together on something new.
And this is great, man. This is so far from you. So let's go in the financial aspect of the business, because this is a big one too. I was fortunate to start the business a way that unconventional, where my first client was my first money. Technically, I have my website, all that. So what was your process?
My process, yeah. Well, I was a recent immigrant. I just kind of landed here. I started knocking doors. As far as capital goes, again, my mentor helped me out massively. He got me the bare needs equipment and $2,000 cash. And that's what I had to start the business. That was a huge help. Again, look, I was a 21-year-old, just finished college, just paid for the first lesson deposit on a place in Brookline Village. It was, it was very tight. It was very tight, we'll say.
Yo, Brookline Village, man, this is a big, if you got this client, this is a huge one, man. They are, how many acres they have? They have a bunch of houses.
It's a beautiful spot. It just happened to be, we moved in for the summer for a sublet, and it just happened to be a fantastic residential area. It meant that I didn't need a van in that first season. So as I say, I used a wheelbarrow to transport the ladders. I'd get up at 4 a.m. So nobody would see me, and bring the wheelbarrow with the ladders and all the equipment to the site.
Wow. This is great, man. This is great to hear, great content, because I like this type of conversation where we go below the surface. Yes, the business might be established now, but things we did to kind of get it there, that's where people are gonna learn more. Right. Because everybody can say, yeah, we have a successful business, but they don't tell you, the in and out of it. So now, is there a no in this industry you learned so far? Things you think there's no, like do not do?
These are some great questions, Eddie. A no. There's definitely a few. I would say, when it comes to the commercial type of work, I guess I'd like your input on this, but when it comes to borrowing other people's tools, I would say I'm not in favor of borrowing someone else's ladder, we'll say, or, impact.
Yeah.
Or, I would say, roughly to my crew, if we're on a site, or, I would suggest maybe not doing that. It's not a massive no, but, if you're stuck.
Yeah, I got you. Why?
I think, honestly, safety. I think I've just, as being the young guy on the site too many times, the older guy might have came and took my ladder, let's say, and then all of a sudden I'm stuck in that. I can't do my job, or I'm forced to do it in a way that's unsafe, So I think I've seen the other side of it. And I think it's, ideal world, everybody has their own stuff, but, that's not
I know. So this is great. So let's go to our break. So we have Ryan Streete with us. Is the owner of Ryan Painting Co. And we're having a great conversation so far. All right, so let's go back. Let's come back with our break with Divine Purpose Podcast, and this is Eddy Dacius.
What comes
DFM is a smart choice if you're looking for facility management, building maintenance, vendor management, project management, locksmithing for your building. Call them now, 617-237-0106, or go online, www.daciusfm.com. So we have Ryan with us for more questions straight on Hot Topic. So Hot Topic is a segment where we talk about important topic, question related to your career, question our audience will not have the chance to ask you. Let's go with Hot Topic now. So, like you can see, we're gonna go deep. It's like a construction. All right, so let's go with this question. How was your confidence level starting your own business?
Ooh, I would say prior to starting, higher. I would say it's been on a roller coaster since then. I would say that it's maybe rebounding now. I hope it seems that way.
Why is that? Why is that?
Yeah, I just think you start a business, your confidence takes a hit. You kind of have to have a major check with your ego. You have to deal with a lot of FUD, a lot of head trash, and it affects your confidence. Absolutely. Your business is you. It's an extension of you that you're putting out into the world, and it's not nice.
We gotta go deep, man. We gotta go deep. Spill the beans, man. Why was it? What incident happened? So what I'm saying is, you said that when you start your business, right, confidence is high, and then something happened. You check your ego, right?
Yeah.
Can you get an example? What happened?
Totally. Yeah. So I think anything really, from just losing a job, putting a lot of work into a deal. Say you've got a really high quality lead, super excited about a project that comes up, pegging a lot of hope on it. In those early days, that was a massive blow. That email saying, "Hey, thanks for the estimate, but we've decided to go for someone else." Around the time, back then it was kind of like that was just all feeding into negative frame of mind, which just
Ryan, man, you speaking the true flower. It's like that's gonna lead to a question, but what I'm saying is this is where you spend time to do the estimation, right?
Yes.
And then you got all the indication, you get in the job, and you're not expensive. You're very competitive in your pricing. And you get that email. Sometimes you don't get it, but sometimes you get that email saying, "Thank you for your time, but we decided to go with another."
That's it, and that's how it goes. Sometimes it's for the best, It's
So, what was your strategic plan in terms of establishing your pricing? Because starting your own business, you don't know if you really do your research or to do the research, but most of the time you don't know how to price.
Right. That's that's a question I've had since day one. That's been like, kind of, one of the most burning questions, as far as needing answer goes. So in the early days, Eddy, it was very much, okay, let's think about this as far as how long that's going to take me and how long it's going to take to clean it all up at the end of the day, how long it's going to, or sorry, rather, how much the materials are going to cost. And it just was very slow and very lethargic. So over the last 2 years, it's been moving towards a spreadsheet whereby we worked out, okay, these are all of the things that we do on interior jobs. These are all of the things that we do on exterior jobs. We figure out our price per linear foot for certain items, price per square foot for other items. And we figure out what our labor budget is. We figure out what our sales price is. I mean, it's made things a lot more straightforward. It's made, as I said earlier, can't measure it, can't improve it. So it's made adjusting to the seasonality changes easier. And it's it just makes me feel, and the other guys, more confident going to a customer saying, no, we have a standard price. I'm not just making this up. If you want to make a change in the future, like, I can track that, that's not just a made up number. So from a confidence base, it's important.
So is that helpful by doing this?
I would say definitely. So much time saved. I think so much worry saved as well. I'm sure you've had this too, the sweats in the middle of the night thinking, oh my God, have I priced that job?
Yeah.
Well, have I underbid?
Right. I thought I was alone on this. Because you thinking that, oh, did I went too low? So mostly I'm always worried going too low. That's my thing. I never think I went too high, but I'm always worried. I'm like, I'm too low on the job.
Yeah, that's it. There's always going to be that thought, like, is there money left on the table? But again, that's where it comes back to having a standard price. If I know I've charged X amount of dollars for, 1 square of shingles and 10 houses before this, and I'm charging the same amount for this house, then I feel okay about that because I've done it for this money before, So again, it just comes back to, if you have a set price, customer trusts you more, you trust your process more, and it's just more transparent and life's easier.
So I will go a little bit deeper on the set price, and I know you're talking about spreadsheet, but let's go a little bit deeper on it. Like, let's break it down. You have to document every job you do to like historical data, right?
Yeah, that's right. So here, understanding what happens here has been, the crux of the business, kind of strategy, business process, so figuring out what stage comes where, definitely. Like, one part of how we've made that easier for ourselves is kind of having easier ways of recording all of these projects, essentially. So what I'm talking about there is like a customer relationship management tool, a CRM. We started using that about 2 years ago, and that was overnight. The business changed. It was immediately, it felt so much more like, okay, we have a way of doing these with all of these leads.
So and this is great because now we're talking about the digital software world. And so the question I'm going to ask you, because you're talking about you had a mentor who has a business, what did you take from him and what did you improve?
Yeah, I would say that what I've taken from him is that if you don't show the customer the way, they will make and take their own way. He had a very solid process that was on paper. That's what worked for him. And he's been doing this for, a number of years. And I just thought where I've improved that is probably just by bringing that into the digital age a little bit. Like, I haven't been privy to his process, to be honest with you. But just as far as bringing that into a more approachable usage points, like, making things accessible on iPhone, just having our Google Drive clearly laid out so that you're not clicking 1,000 links to get to the folder you're trying to go to,
Yeah. No, definitely. So let's talk about you said you were born in Boston and you went to Ireland. Is there a misunderstanding about, so what do you think people misunderstand more about Irish people?
It's interesting. I would say I talk with my girlfriend around this a lot, between the differences, between Irish kind of culture and the rest of the world. But I would say that we're very indirect. I would say that, maybe we don't like to take the quickest, straightest line to approaching the topic at hand. We like to zigzag and kind of gently ease our way into conversations, and that's the same in business. I think it's nice to have that kind of informality up front before getting into the weeds.
Okay. So, and this is great so far. Let's talk about the biggest job you had so far, and how was your stress level, and how was your process hiring people for that job?
Biggest job so far has honestly been it's been fantastic. To be honest, it's just finished. Funny you say that. Last week, and it's really been one of the first jobs that has gone through our pipeline with myself and my business co-owner having more clearly and defined roles. So it was a pretty big project, by no means a massive project, but it was a big project. It took 6 weeks, and it really was a test of every stage of our pipeline. And just shout out to Tiago. He managed that fantastically well, and it was just a dream. So yeah, funny enough, they don't all go like that. That's unusual, I'll say. Not unusual, but for such a large job to go off without him really is, it's just great. And yeah, I just put it down to process and improving as we go. Small changes, small improvements.
Let's talk about the process of hiring people, hiring staff. Like those jobs, they are big. There's a reason they're big. You need people to help, and then keep that still same way of doing business. So when, let's say, somebody listening to this episode and they want to work with you guys, so what would be the pitch for them? What type of employees you guys are attracting?
Yeah, I'd say we're looking for people that kind of fit the team. We want people from all walks of life to kind of people that aren't necessarily in our trade right now, or that haven't necessarily got experience in other trades. We're just really looking for people that are willing to learn, that understand, okay, now it's time to be a little bit urgent. We're trying to, people that kind of just have a good sense of awareness, and it's not a very difficult job, painting, but it's a skill and it has to be learned, and it just takes the right attitude. It's attitude.
Yeah, it's attitude, and I will agree. So, can you spot a bad employee or somebody who's not gonna fit with your team?
Yeah, usually pretty quickly.
Really?
Pretty quickly. Yeah, honestly, it's kind of attitude. Like, on a job site, there's nowhere really to hide. Especially during the exterior season. We're all outside. It's really just attitude. Honestly, like I think I try not to ever write anybody off immediately, of course, but I'll have a general sense of. I'll have a general sense after those first 2-3 weeks, I would say, if someone's going to make it or not. First 2-3 weeks, definitely.
So this is the time where we're gonna talk about the culture of your company. The reason we like to do this is because we feel like culture matter, vision, and impact in the community. Some people, that's why they wanna be part of an organization or a company that's value people. So, what's the culture like at Ryan Painting Co?
Yeah, I'd say it's I don't want to use the word chill, but it's relaxed to a point where we're understanding that we're in a marathon here. Marathon Monday. It's not a sprint. I'd say that's kind of like the fundamental kind of underlying rock of our approach. You know, we understand the urgency of our clients' needs, absolutely, but we also understand that, you know, as far as process and all of those other challenges go, they're not all going to be sorted this week. You know, the list never ends. It's, you know, so I think we understand that, we deal with that, we're real with that, and we just try to kind of be forgiving with each other, be understanding of each other. You know, we're all going through new stuff. You know, we're growing and learning, and every corner it's a new lesson. So it's, yeah, being, you know, good listeners, being communicative, and being supportive, I would say, is a huge part of how our culture currently looks. I'm really hopeful that we can keep that going forward.
It wouldn't fair if I don't ask you this question. Where do you see Ryan Painting Co. in the next few years?
Yeah, I'd like to think that we will have nailed our process. I'd like to think that we will have expanded. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. There are various ways of expanding. So yeah, if anybody has had a similar experience, or Eddie, likewise, please, I'm all ears. I'd love to hear more about anybody's opinions on how we can expand this business. But I hope it's, I'm excited for the future, and I think we're on a good path.
And I think so too, because like I said, as a fellow business owner, we want growth. You know, we want sustainable financial, in terms of like settle down financially with like a steady growth. You know, but do you think this is the right path for you in terms of investing your time in this business? The reason I ask, some people they build this building business to grow somewhere else, where they're looking to say, okay, I make this successful, I'm going with another direction. Is that where you're at, or is it all in for you?
For me, it's, you know, it's all, you know, it kind of has to be all in. There is, you know, so for the people that have second jobs and, you know, work the Uber shifts, and, you know, fair play to them, that are starting their, you know, new business like this, it's to really, to run the business, to grow the business, to, you know, document the process of a business. It's a full-time commitment. And it's very hard to not see yourself doing that while you're in it, I would say. But as far as happy, you know, like I'm challenged here. I think that, you know, the challenge is, you know, they're not going away anytime soon. It's difficult for me to speak further on that, honestly, because it's like I don't see what else, you know, will open up. But life has a funny way of putting those things out there. So I'm just along for the ride.
So do you focus on project to project, or you looking at like because the reason I'm saying this, so I don't do on call, I do contractual services. So when you have us for a length of time, because I think it's better. We know your business, we know the building, we kind of grow with you guys in terms of like, this is what needs to be done. And then especially as a facility manager, there was a forecasting aspect the client needs. So what's your preference?
Right. Yes. So typically what we do as far as residential goes is a contract by contract base, of course. And then with our commercial partners, we'll have a, you know, a standard kind of process of working with those people, whereby, you know, they kind of reach out, they put a job on our, in our pipeline, and we take care of it for them, kind of again on a contract basis.
Okay.
So, you know, on call for certain partners, certainly, but at the end of the day, it's still a contractual relationship.
Wow, that was great. That was great hearing you and talking about the hot topic. I think you did great on that. No sweat, right? You did really great. So this is Ryan Streete with Eddy Dacius on Divine Purpose Podcast on a hot topic. So this question will go with this is the fun part. We get into close to this episode, the end of that great conversation with Ryan Streete. Let's go with when you're not doing business, what is Ryan doing?
I should be better at this, but walking. Honestly, super lucky to live in a part of Boston where there's nice parks around. So yeah, I love to go for walks. I like to clean my car. I like to, cleaning cars actually. That's probably a big one for me.
Yeah. Are you a movie fan? Are you reading books? Or so if you into any of that, if you any movies, you will recommend to the audience.
Yeah, I'm gonna put out Train Spotting. Train Spotting is a recommendation for anybody that's up for a Ewan McGregor 1990s Scottish kind of movie. That's one I've enjoyed recently. And as far as a book recommendation goes, further on to our conversation earlier, I would say The E-Myth by Michael Gerber is a book that I would recommend.
And why?
It was definitely like a huge part of me understanding, okay, now I have to make a process. You know, I have to document this process. I don't have a business until I do that. Kind of is how I felt after reading that book.
That's good. That's good. That means I probably did a good job today. Eh?
I think it does. Definitely.
Do you travel a lot? Do you hike? Do you ride bike, motorcycle?
Yeah, just honestly, with my time off, I tend to kind of go back to Ireland when I can. With my girlfriend, we go back, sometimes 3-4 times a year. Super lucky there. It's not a long flight. So yeah, that's kind of what my time spent doing. Visit kind of New Hampshire, the lakes up there.
Yeah.
Go swimming, stuff like that. Yeah, business takes up a lot of time.
I know.
Not much time for other stuff, I'm afraid.
I know. Yeah, especially when you trying to build it, from the ground up, right? So there's a lot of hours. So like I said, this was great conversation with you, Ryan. We'll appreciate it. Last word for you.
Yeah, just just to touch on what I just said, it's important to kind of, in this line of work, go for it, but it's also important not to overdo it. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So take every day as it comes. That's my final word. Anybody trying to start a business.
All right, well said. So this is Eddy Dacius with Divine Purpose Podcast. We had Ryan Streete with us. He's the owner of Ryan Painting Co. And we had a great conversation. Definitely, if you're into business and want some advice starting your own business, you should listen to this podcast. You can find us on all major platform or go on www.dppodcast.com or listen on Podbean, Apple Podcast. Leave us a comment, leave us a rating, and like this episode and share. So this is Eddy Dacius with Divine Purpose Podcast. Thank you.